We have a one stock market, which is NVIDIA, and thousands of stocks that are kind of playing around. So let's summarize the week of NVIDIA. Let's summarize the week of AMD, Microsoft, Google, the major averages, indices, everything and anything that happened this week on our weekly summary. Are you ready for it? Let's go. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Micha Stocks, and on this channel we talk about stocks, investments, and anything related to that. But a quick reminder that anything and everything that you see here is not financial advice. It's only for education and entertainment purpose only. And also, if you're new, it would be amazing if you can subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on, and that way you will be able to be notified every time that a new video is posted, which the current cadence is a weekly video every week. Here we go. Major averages this week, except the Russell, which went down 2.2%. We are green for the week. The Dow is up 0.29, S&P up 1.3, and the NASDAQ up 2.5%. You can see that the the charge came from the technology side. And how do I know that? Because the RSP, which is the S&P 500, but on an equal weight, ended on a negative side, which means that technology was the one that pushed everything forward on the S&P. And here you can see on the indices, the XLK, the technology up 2.59%, then the healthcare 1.9%. And on the flip side, we have utilities after a few very strong weeks, taking a breather, down 3.8%, and the XLE energy down 3.44%. Crypto market didn't behave any special this week. Bitcoin almost on 0.39%, but Ethereum giving back 2% on the week. Commodities, natural gas keeps its upward trajectory, up 14.6%. On the flip side, silver, gold, and crude oil all on the negative side. And this brings us, of course, to the Magnificent Seven, or probably would be more logically to say one stock and all the rest. NVIDIA up another 10.27%, and the rest, Meta 5.6%, Amazon 4.4%, and only Tesla ending on the red for the week. We'll get to that. A quick reminder, NVIDIA is doing a 10-to-1 split on Monday. Monday opening, NVIDIA stock will be, the price would be divided by 10 versus how it ended on Friday. It doesn't mean anything for the market cap. It doesn't mean anything if you're an NVIDIA holder. You will get 9 additional stocks for every one stock that you have, which means that nothing has changed from your perspective. Only the cost basis will be divided by 10. That's the only thing that would happen. We're going to talk about that in a second. And the 5 biggest performers for the S&P 500 were HP after a very solid earnings. CCL with oil coming down, crude oil coming down, performing very well. NVIDIA, we talked about it, Expedia and Illumina. And on the flip side, we see Vista, Bath & Body Works, Builder, First Source, Constellation Energy, and the Mosaic Company all on the red for the week. That brings us directly to the headlines for the week. Does this picture tell you that we are at a top with NVIDIA? Jensen Huang, Taiwan, in a technology conference, Computex, signs the shirt of one of the attendees. And usually when you see these kinds of pictures, it means that we are at a top in the market. Are we at a top or not? We'll see in the next few weeks. But usually these pictures do not end well. This brings us to the top holdings of the S&P 500. For the first time, Apple is only number 2, and NVIDIA surpassing it both on market cap and on a weighted percentage on the S&P 500 or the SPY. During Sunday, Jensen Huang and other companies, not only NVIDIA, presented in the Computex. NVIDIA is going to launch in a new cadence their chips. Every year they're going to have a new chip. In the next year it's going to be Blackwell Ultra, and next year and the year after it's going to be Rubin. That was presented during the conference. Lisa Su from AMD also presented new AI chips coming from AMD to compete with NVIDIA and Intel. And Intel also presented their chips to compete with NVIDIA and AMD. So everyone competes one with the other, but at the end of the day, they can compete with one and the other. But NVIDIA is taking everyone's lunch and market cap, at least currently. On Friday, we got the jobs report. It came hotter than expected. More jobs were created, but also more unemployment. A quick explanation how or why does that happen? Basically, with immigrants and work from home, the workforce increased, which means that people that didn't sign unemployment and didn't work before are starting to work. That increases the work, but also new or employees that are now unemployed are signing unemployment. So both of them go up, which doesn't sound logical, but think of people that came back from retirement. Think of people that are working from home that haven't worked before. All this creates this odd situation where non-farm payrolls goes up, but also unemployment goes up at the same time. Monday, we had a very interesting technical issue on the New York Stock Exchange, showed tickers or stocks that dropped 99%. One of them was Berkshire Hathaway, the Berkshire Hathaway A, not even Berk B, also Chipotle and others. This was a technical issue and it was fixed. No one gained or lost from this technical issue, at least to the best of my knowledge. GameStop, Roaring Kitty, came back this week and presented his portfolio, his call options, and his holdings. This went to a point where E-Trade wanted to, or thinks of kicking him out. And on Friday, 500,000, 500,000 people joined his live stream and found the 30-year-old person live streaming, trying to be funny, trying to be focused, but mainly trying to avoid the SEC from seeing anything bad that he might be saying. 63 small banks, regional banks, are on the brinks of insolvency, according to a news article that came out this week. We did see Moody's downgrade 6 regional banks during the week. Will the regional banks be the first shoe to fall or second shoe to fall? We don't know, but everyone is waiting to see what's going on with the commercial market. And Narendra Modi is won the election in India for the third time, but with a narrower coalition, which means that it's going to be difficult for him to go and do the same reforms that he did before. And the market didn't like that at the beginning, but then a day later, everything bounced back on the ETF called INDA, I-N-D-A. Eli Lilly is investing $5.3 billion in a new plant in Indiana. The reason for that is they have so much demand for their GLP-1 shots that all they need is to produce more. Spotify is raising their prices for the premium services. Google is laying off people on their cloud, which is very interesting because it's the unit that is growing. On the flip side, Microsoft is laying off, but on the mixed reality, which is not their main focus right now. So they're doubling down on AI and not on things that are not bringing them any money. Elon Musk, or actually CNBC exposing this week that Elon Musk moved Tesla from the line waiting for new NVIDIA chips and pushed X and XAI before Tesla. This headline is not accurate. So the situation is like that, and Elon Musk, of course, reiterated that on X. He said it's not that he moved Tesla, he just didn't need the chips for Tesla currently because there isn't any place to put them. Is that the reason? If it's not the reason, we don't really know, but that's at least his reasoning for what happened. Warner Brothers Discovery hikes their price on the Mac services. Americans are getting wealthier with $3.7 trillion earned from interest and dividends only in Q1. BlackRock and Citadel are trying to start a new stock exchange in Texas, which will kind of be called the anti-woke exchange. Alphabet taps Eli Lilly's CFO, Anat Ashkenazi, to be their new CFO, replacing Ruth Porat, that is going to oversight Google's investments. ASML finished, after 6 months' work, building their new chip-making machine. It took 2 Airbuses, 250 engineers, and 6 months to fully install it. Crazy, crazy machine. Robinhood buys Bitstamp, a European stock exchange for crypto. Robinhood sees their growth coming from that sector. NEO, first quarter loss widened more than expected. Their financials isn't good. NEO's ticker, of course, NIO. ECB during the week cuts their rates. They raised their inflation forecast, but still cut rates by 25 basis points, maybe signaling for the Fed that it's time for the Fed to cut as well. U.S. regulators are opening an antitrust inquiry. Microsoft, OpenAI, and NVIDIA. And we talked about jobless claims earlier. GameStop, after or during the live stream on Friday, it went up 34% in the pre-market and ended minus 25%. A huge roller coaster for GameStop. And the options that Roaring Kitty, that meme king, has are supposed to expire in the next 2 weeks. So expect a lot of volatility on GameStop stock. And this is Boeing Air Canada plane. You can see the flames in the middle of the plane. The plane turned around and landed safely, but another Boeing plane with problems. And we'll end with a rebalancing of the S&P 500. New additions to the S&P 500, CrowdStrike, KKR, and GoDaddy. And Robert Half, Comerica, and Illumina are being taken out of the S&P 500. And that will bring us to next week. I will use my friend Jim Cramer's game plan or wall to talk about next week. Monday is a very, very, very important day. Apple will double with WWDC. Will we hear finally AI coming from Apple? The whole market is waiting for it, anticipating. Let's hope Cupertino won't disappoint. NVIDIA stock split, we talked about it earlier. The stock is going to be divided by 10. Again, nothing impacts you as an investors except if you didn't have $1,200 to buy one NVIDIA stock, now you will be able to buy it at $120. And again, this is not financial advice. The stock might go down because of that. Eli Lilly with the FDA advisory meeting on Monday. Tuesday, we get Oracle's earnings. Wednesday, a very, very big macro day. We have CPI, 8:30 in the morning Eastern. Then FOMC results at 2 p.m., 2:30. Jerome Powell with his presser. And Broadcom, after the close, is reporting ticker AVGO. Thursday, Adobe is reporting. Very, very, very interesting week for the markets as a whole. And we talked about all the important things on the market. And that will bring us, what is this? We talked about that. To the S&P 500. As you can see on Friday, last Friday, we got very close to the 50-day moving average and bounced from it. And now we're at 4,300 or 534 on the SPY. The SPY is the ETF that follows the S&P 500. And of course, you cannot buy the S&P 500. You can buy the ETF. Major, let's say, price that you need to look at. Currently, there is talk of the S&P gaining and getting into 550 during the month of June. But there's also an option of going down to around 524 and even 518. So expect a bit of volatility here, especially during this week where we have both micro and macro decisions. Hope you enjoyed the weekly summary. If you did, smash that like button and share with your friends. I will be here next week. Same time, same place. Till next time. Bye-bye.